Okay, so share capital is nothing but it's a part of capital that has been issued to the public. So why do they issue the share capital? Just to raise money. Okay, just to get more money to the company, they issue this capital. uh, so whenever you give money to the company, they are going to give you something called as share certificate. Now this share certificate is a documental proof saying that you have invested in the particular company. So that is the share capital, and there are certain features for share capital. Firstly, it is the capital that the company will get for a long period of time. Okay, if you invest in equity shares of a company, it is going to be with the company for a very long period of time. So which means that the company has an advantage of having the share capital for long term. Then share capital is one of the best source where it can raise the money. So that is another important point. Then when the company is able to when the company is able to pay the money or the dividend from the profits that it gets, so it will also improve the image of the company. Then the share capital are easily available than any other options. So that is the one of the feature of share capital. And all these provisions are supposed to be mentioned in the capital clause of the MOA. Now, MOA and AOA are the two major documents of the company. So these capital clause, or what, how much are we issuing as shares and everything, is supposed to be mentioned in the MOA and AOA. Okay, without mentioning in MOA and AOA, they cannot issue the capital at any point of time. Anything, any simple details has to be mentioned in MOA and AOA. If you are issuing preference shares, that has to be mentioned. How much preference shares are we issuing? How much equity shares are we issuing? And how much are we collecting as application? Allotment, what is the first call money? What is the final call money? Everything has to be generally mentioned in the MOA and AOA. And also, if at all we are issuing something called as bonus shares, then again mention in the AOA is compulsory. And no loan will be created when it comes to share capital. It is not like it's a housing loan and we create some sort of charge. Now, if for example, if it's a gold loan, you go and keep the physical gold and then take the money. If it's housing loan, we keep the papers of the home and then take the loan. So in this case, there is no charge when it comes to share capital. There is no charge when it comes to share capital, so they will be able to take the money as it is. Then with all these features, there are many more features, like these shares will help in participating in the company, and it will give you a part of profit. All that are the features of share capital. Then we understood what are the types of share capital. In types of share capital, the ultimate money that we issue to the public is called as authorized capital. Suppose we have decided to issue, let's say, 100 crores. So 100 crores is the maximum capital that can be issued throughout the life of the company. So that is known as authorized capital. Now coming to issued capital, out of 100 crores, let's say as of now we are only issuing 1 crore. Okay, for the new project we require, or for starting of a company, we require only 1 crore, and so that 1 crore is called as issued capital. So authorized is throughout the life of the company, whatever amount is being issued, that is called as authorized capital. And out of that, if you issue one part, or if you take a separate part of it and issue it, that is called as issued capital. Now, out of 100 crore, we have issued 1 crore. The remaining 99 crores is the unissued capital. Okay. So it's something like you have taken permission for 3 days leave. Let's say, for suppose you have taken permission for 3 days leave. Now, in that 3 days, one day you might go for trip. One day you might spend at home. The other day you might go to relatives' house. Okay. What is the permission? The permission is for 3 days. Okay, so that is the authorized capital. In that, one day going for trip is your wish. So the company will decide how much it has to issue. And the other 2 days where you have not gone for trip, you can call them as unissued capital. Okay. Then coming to subscribed and unsubscribed. Now, when you call for 1 crore, how much people have taken from the company? So that will be subscribed capital. So the general public is supposed to come and buy your shares. So that will be subscribed shares. Unsubscribed is the left out part which is not taken by the general public. Then coming to called up and uncalled up shares. Called up share capital is nothing but out of that whatever you ask general public to pay. Okay. Now let's say for example that 1 crore out of 100 crore, 1 crore we are issuing. Now in that 1 crore, let us say 70 lakhs people have bought the shares. So 70 lakhs rupees is being collected by the company. Correct. Now how did we get that 70 lakhs? Since we called up, since we told that okay, now you people have to just pay 5 rupees for taking the application of the share. Just come and pay 5 rupees and buy how many ever shares you want. So each share is costing 5 rupees. So let's say one person is buying 10,000 shares, so he will be paying 50,000 rupees. Like this, there are many shareholders who will be paying the amount to us. So that will be called up shares. Now uncalled up. Now let's take an example here to understand it better. Now out of 100 crore, 1 crore is being issued, and out of that 70 lakh rupees people, worths of 70 lakh rupees is being subscribed. Let's say for example, uh, each share is costing us 1,000 rupees. Okay, each share is costing us 1,000 rupees. Now in this 1,000 rupees, I'll ask them, please come and pay 100 rupees now to buy the application. Okay, so how much did I get? I out of 100 rupees if I have asked, and let's say I have asked for 7,000 or 70,000 people. Okay, so 70 lakh, yeah, 70 lakh will give me so many zeros. So if I take out 3 zeros, I get 7,000, right? So 7,000 shares are available. So when I ask 7,000 people to pay 100 rupees, how much money will I get? 3 zeros here and 2 zeros there. So I get 7 lakh rupees. Okay. So this 7 lakh rupees is the called up share. Okay. And the remaining 900 rupees here, I have not yet asked them to pay. Right? Out of 1,100 rupees, I have asked them to pay for application, and I have got 7 lakh rupees here because the shares, number of shares was 7,000. Now remaining 900 rupees, I have not asked them to pay. So that will become uncalled up share. Fine. So these are the few important types of share capital. These are not types of shares. Don't get confused in the examination. These are not types of shares. These are types of share capital. When it comes to types of shares, you have to write about equity share, preference shares, sweat equity shares, okay, bonus shares. Those are types of shares. Okay. So next is the reserve capital. Now, did you all understand until here? Yes. Are you all able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, moving on further, we have reserve capital. Now, in reserve capital, these are a part of uncalled capital where we keep aside some money for the future emergency purpose. Okay. If the company is closing down, then in that case, we will require these reserve capital to pay back to the creditors or preference shareholders. Okay, like that emergency, or in case of any emergency, they can take this reserve capital and use them. Then paid up capital and unpaid up capital. So this is a part of called up capital which we saw already. Okay, in this how much people have paid and how much they have not paid. Okay, now I told that 1000 rupees is the 1000 rupees is the value of one share, right? Now out of 1000 rupees I had called 100 rupees. I told pay 100 rupees. Now once I asked them to pay 100 rupees, out of 7000 shares I was only able to get money for 5000 shares. This is paid up capital. I had called for 7000 shares, but 5000 shares only was sold. So that will be paid up capital. Unpaid up capital is the difference between these two, that is 2000. 2000 shares was unpaid. So that will be the unpaid capital. Okay, so that is the types of share capital. Now moving on further is the share. What is a share? Share means the share in share capital of a company. When in the company, when they want money and when they are using the share capital, they are supposed to uh, take a part of that and issue it to the public. So let us see what are the types of shares. Now, before there were three types of shares, that is equity share, preference shares, and deferred shares. Now, these deferred shares are nothing but which are issued to the founders of the company. Before there was a rule that the founders of the company compulsorily must have the shares in the company. Okay, that was one of the rules under Companies Act. But now there is no such rules that the founder should have shares or anything, because a company has perpetual uh, time or perpetual equity. So what happens with that perpetuity is the management keeps changing over and again. Okay, after many years the management keeps changing. So these founder shares will not make too much of difference if it is given. So now in after 1956 Companies Act and 2013 Companies Act, these deferred shares are being taken out from the types of shares. They cannot be issued. Okay, but for these deferred shares they were getting dividend before everybody else. Okay, even before preference shares, deferred shares were given the dividend. So that was I think that was the main reason why they took it out, because the owner of the company is the last person to take away any profit. So that is why they have taken out this deferred shares. Now what are the types of shares we have? We have equity shares and preference shares. Coming to preference shares, these are those shares which have preferential right. They have preferential right in two places. Number one, when the company is working, they will get dividend in the first place. Okay, whenever if they get profit or there is no profit, but preference shares will get their dividend. Okay, that is first part. The second part where they get preferential right is that if the company is closing down, then in that case the amount will be given back to them first. Okay, the amount whatever their share amount was there, that will be returned to them first. So that is preference shares. And there are few features that is the same preferential features which I spoke about. First, they will get the dividend, and they have no right in management, which means they cannot sit in the meeting and decide what has to be done by the company. So preference shares, the only advantage is they'll get return on their money on in a fixed manner. Okay, once you, let's say you have invested 10,000 in a company, so every year you keep getting 10%, 10% in the form of dividend without any changes. So that is the major feature of a preference shares. Now coming to kinds of preference shares: cumulative, non-cumulative. Cumulative preference shares, cumulative preference shares is that where when the profit is not there in the company and they don't have money to give dividends, they will postpone the payment of dividend. Okay, this postponement can be done for more than 1 year. So that is known as cumulative. So if the company is not able to pay the dividend in 2020, they can pay the dividend in 2023 also. Okay, they can accumulate the dividend and pay for all the 3 years. So that is called cumulative. Non-cumulative, they have to pay the dividend in particular year. If they don't pay, then that particular year's dividend will not be paid later. There is no postponement done in non-cumulative. Okay, then participating, non-participating. In participating preference shares, the preference shareholders will get some rights to participate in the profit, which means company's profit, a part of it, a very minute part of it, will be paid to the shareholders. Like equity shareholders, preference shareholders will also get some part of money from that. Okay, then coming to non-participating preference shares, here preference shares, they'll get dividend, and that is all is the thing. They will not have any extra rights here. So that is non-participating. Then redeemable, irredeemable. Redeemable means the actual amount, okay, that 10,000 which we have invested in the company, that will also be paid back by the company before it closes down. Okay, before the company closes, it will pay back the money. When it comes to irredeemable preference shares, the company, the 10,000 we have invested, it will take it along with that. It will just use the money and they don't give back to us. Then convertible preference shares and non-convertible. Now this is a very interesting part. Now here convertible preference share means this preference shares can be converted to equity share. Okay, a part of preference shares can be converted to equity share for a certain period of time. So that is convertible preference shares. And non-convertible is you cannot convert them to equity share. Okay, and we saw few advantages of equity shares. For investors, it is they will get good income, that is they're very much fixed in nature, and it is less risky. They don't participate in the company, so it is like no problem, you do your work and give me the profit. That is what investors will think. But when it comes to company, what is the advantages? They don't interfere in the management, so too many people will spoil the dish. It's something like that. So company has its system where they will work according to that, and company will also get wide capital market to raise the money. So apart from ordinary shares, they can also issue preference shares and get more money. So that is wide capital market. Again, with the shares, there is no charge on assets. So we are not taking, or the company is not taking any sort of loan here. So their assets are safe. Like I told, for gold loan, you have to keep the gold, right? So like that, company is not taking any loan. So their assets are not kept for any loan. Then those were few advantages. Coming to disadvantages, it is a very fixed type of dividend. So you cannot expect too much money coming out of it. How much you have invested, from that only you will get the dividend. And there are no voting rights given to preference shareholders. Okay, voting rights is specially given for equity shareholders, and they enjoy it. Now, where can preference shareholders talk is that only when preference shares related matters comes in the meeting, they can talk. Okay, and to the company, no matter which type of share it is actually a high cost of capital to raise these capital. No, it is little difficult because of the procedures. There'll be lot of procedures. Underwriters should be seen, brokers should be checked upon, then listing procedures should be done in the stock market, and then to make sure that the bank is well connected with the company, and all these procedures has to be taken care of. Once the system is set, then they can move forward. Okay, so that is preference shares. So any doubts in the preference shares? I'm just revising the whole chapter once again. Any doubts in the preference share part?
No, ma'am.
No.
Now moving further, we have equity shares. Now equity shares are called as ordinary shares. Now these equity shares will, the people who buy equity shares are taking lot of risk. Why they're taking lot of risk? Because they are in putting their money into the company. Let's say the same 10,000 rupees which is invested into the company, The company will say, see, I will not give you dividend on time. Okay, I don't know if I will get profit or not, and then I can use your money however I want. You cannot put any condition on that for now. So if company says all this, we it is obvious for a shareholder to get that nervousness, or that panic situation will arise for equity shareholders. So that is how the equity shares money is being used. So that is the main reason why equity shareholders are called owners of the company. Why? Because they're putting the money, or they're investing the money into the company, and they just have to sit back and wait until the company gets profit. Okay, so that is why these equity shares are called as ordinary shares, and the people are called as owners. There is no fixed rate of dividend. They will be paid at last. They're the last, least paid, least and the last paid, both you can take. Okay, why? Because first they will pay the preference shareholders, and then if there are any other dues left out, they will pay, and then they'll check all the expenses which has to be paid by the company, they'll pay. Then they keep aside some profit as retained earnings, which means a reserve kind of a thing is maintained from the profit. After all these things, if there is any profit that is remaining, that will be shared to the equity shareholders in the form of dividends. Okay, so that is main thing where they will be able to take lot of risk. But you can ask me, then why should one invest in equity share? They also have few advantages. Since they are taking so much risk, equity shares will get voting rights. Any matter or any small thing that has to be done in the company, the shareholders permission is required. Let's say a company, let's say ABC Limited is a company which is doing, or which is going for a new project. Okay, it has to call for a shareholders meeting, and it has to discuss. Okay, see, this is the project, this is a very good project which we are trying to do, so let us go forward, who all are okay with this project. Okay, or if the company wants to appoint a new director, again it has to call the shareholders meeting. In the shareholders meeting, they have to discuss all this. It is not easy to call a shareholders meeting. Okay, why it is not easy? See, there are so many procedures to call the shareholders meeting. We will be learning that in the coming chapter. So I'll just say you few of the procedures. If you want to call, let's say, AGM, annual general meeting. Now, to call annual general meeting, 21 days before the meeting, every shareholder, okay, every shareholder should be sent an invitation. Okay, so 21 days before the meeting is going to happen, let's say today we are doing AGM 13/11/2020. 13 November we are doing an AGM. So 21 days before this date, the invitation should have reached everyone. Okay, now in that invitation, one has to include what is it about. Are you calling it for AGM, or are you calling it for EGM? There is extraordinary general meeting. Okay, immediately if you want to call. Okay, and then you have to say them what is the purpose of the meeting. Why are you calling the meeting? That is also important to be mentioned. Okay, are you calling meeting for appointment of director, or you want to discuss something else, or you want to appoint somebody else, somebody like chartered accountant or company secretary. Okay, all that agenda of the meeting is compulsory to be mentioned. Now apart from that, you should also mention about timing of the meeting, where the meeting happens, okay, how the meeting happens, all that basic details is supposed to be given. Okay, so which means the company has to work minimum 3 months before the AGM to conduct one meeting. So if one meeting requires 3 months preparation, so understand how much work the company will have to do just these procedures. Okay, so here comes the role of the professionals. To do so much things, The company will hire one big team only there, and they'll say, okay, you do all this work. So that is why, to lead all of them, you'll have a professional called company secretary, whose main job is to conduct the meetings. So these meetings are conducted by company secretaries. Of course, directors of the company, founders, shareholders, everybody will be there. But all the background arrangements will be done by a company secretary only. Okay, the company secretary will have a team. Team, which means that there'll be a department. Okay, all the secretarial practices which is done in the company will be taken care by a CS. All the accounts related part, what is done in the company, will be taken care by a CA. Okay, so but CA also should be part of an annual general meeting. Okay, in annual general meeting, they are gonna talk about or discuss about the accounts of particular quarter or particular year or half year. Everything will be taken care of. So equity shareholders, it is compulsory to do one meeting in 1 year, and then inform them what all is supposed to, what all happened this year first. Okay, and then they will mention, okay, we are planning all this for next year. So firstly, what will they say? They'll talk about what all happened, what all already happened. Let's say what all happened in 2019, we will talk. And what are we trying to do in 2020 and 21. So 1920 we will talk about first. Until December 13, we will say that, okay, so there was lockdown, so we did not have more profit, but we tried doing some business. We have little profit, so we will not give you dividend this time. We will give you dividend next time. Don't worry about it. We will talk about all this, and then we will say, okay, we signed 3 new projects. Okay, these 3 new projects will be coming in the next year. What are the features of new projects? That is the main reason why I asked you to watch that Reliance 2020 AGM. Okay, so in that AGM, firstly they introduced the people. They introduced the people, that is the board of directors. Then they went on to talk about their sales that was happening, the achievements of the company. Then they introduced the new projects. What are the new projects they want to bring in next year? All the JioMart, and JioMart is already there, and then they want to get some Jio glasses, like Apple glass, what you have, the specs. Okay, similarly they want to get the Jio glass also, and they have many more projects. Okay, go through that video. I'll reshare the link. Go through that video completely. It's very interesting to learn. Again, Mahindra and Mahindra also did a same type of meeting, but it's not this much of technological involvement, but it was a good AGM which happened. And then Tata company also did AGM. Now in Tata company AGM, shareholders and board of directors asked questions directly. Okay, I'll share that link also, so please do check all that. It will give you a practical aspect of the Companies Act. Okay, this Companies Act is 100% implemented, practically implemented in day-to-day life of a company. So equity shares, they will not get fixed dividend, but they will have rights to participate in the company's profit. Okay, and it's a long term capital. We'll be using that for a very long period of time. Here, if at all the company does not give the profit or something to the equity shares, so since the equity shareholders are owners of company, they can take away some assets in the company. Okay, let's take for example company ABC Limited. Company ABC Limited was not able to pay profit for equity shareholders. Okay, so these equity shareholders will go to the ABC Limited and they will say, okay, now you are not able to pay the profit. Give me 10 computers which you are using. Give me this complete tables. Give me 20 tables which was there. All these are assets of the company. So equity shares can claim the assets of the company. Preference shares cannot do that. Preference shares has to just take the dividend and keep quiet. But equity shares can do the claim on the asset. Okay, and they can also claim the profit of the company. So that is claim on income. If at all the company gets extra profit, suppose let's say ABC Limited has taken a new project, and they, after taking new project in 2019, they have got 20 crores profit. Okay, now if at all they have got more profit, equity shareholders will immediately come and they'll ask, okay, you've got more profit, right? Give me some profit. Now they can ask like that because they have invested money in the company. So all these are part of equity shares. Now it is very advantageous to the company because it's long term in nature. It will increase the credit worthiness of the company. It is risk capital, but if people give, they will also enjoy more dividend or more profit from the company. Okay, if at all the company pays dividend for equity shareholders, well and good. So equity shareholders can also ask for profit along with the dividend. Okay, that is separate and this is separate. And they can participate and control the management. They can directly control the management here. Okay, few of the disadvantages, again, it is high cost to raise the money, and then equity shares are not very flexible. Okay, they are flexible to an extent, but not too much. Okay, and then trading on equity is not possible. Okay, they are owners of the company. If you want to uh, sell your shares, you have to sell it back to the company, because the ownership of the company is at stake, or it is at dangerous level. So you have to be very careful when you're trading the company. Okay, so those are few of the disadvantages. And if at all it's something like this pandemic times, no, stock market will also go away, company is not able to open, there is no business, there is no profit. In those times there is lot of capital loss. The original money being lost is the situation. Then we have sweat equity shares. Uh, in the sweat equity shares, it is given to the directors or the employees. Why they give this sweat equity? Like the name suggests, sweat, because the employees work for the company, they sweat for the company. So they share their knowledge, they share their experiences, and they share a lot of things with the company. That is why they are given these shares, where these shares are given to employees or directors at discount. Okay, they can later sell them for a higher amount and make money. So that is sweat equity shares. Coming to bonus shares, these are extra shares paid by the company. They will say, okay, I have some amount just left out like that, I have more shares left out like that, take all these shares. Okay, they will allot the bonus shares, they will allot the bonus shares. It is advantageous for the shareholder as well as for the company, so there's no problem. Now coming to share warrant, share warrant is something like a bundle of shares. Okay, it's something like a bundle of shares where there is no name, there is no particular name written on the share certificate. Okay, if I have the share warrant with me, it means that bundle of share is in my name. If the share warrant is in your hand, the bundle of shares is in your name. Okay, just by changing hands, the share warrant can be changed. It is like a negotiable instrument. Whoever is having the document at the end of the year, they will get the money. Okay, similarly, whoever will have the share warrant at the end of the year, they will get the dividend. If I am having that share warrant at the end of the year, when they're giving dividends, I will get dividend. Okay, suppose I was having share warrant and I give it to you. Now you are having it at the end of the year, you will get the dividend. So that is called as share warrant. Then coming to the rights issue, rights issue is nothing but here is where we issue the shares to the existing shareholders. Okay, we are not giving it to the new people. Whoever are the shareholders, we are giving it to them only again. So why are we giving it to them only again? That will help us to increase or build the trust in the company. That will also help us to say, okay, so these people are very much trusting the company, so let us raise more money and pay them back more dividend. So that is the rights issue. Then share certificate, I already explained. It's a document as a proof which will stand. Now here is the difference between preference and equity share. Go through this. I have already explained this in the previous class. Go through this completely. Now coming to the debentures. Now before I start debentures, any doubts until here? These are the second time explanation that I've been doing. Any doubts until here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So let us continue. Debentures. Now debentures are the loan that we give. We as public, we give money to the company in the form of loan. So that is majorly known as debentures. Now here in debentures, what is going to happen? You can simply call them as loan given to the company. Usually what we do, we take loan from banks, correct? Companies also take loan from bank. Individuals also take loan from bank. But another option for a company to take loan is the general public. The normal public people, if they give the money in the form of debentures, that is nothing but loan. So if we are talking about loan, it means that some asset or something should be kept as a charge. Okay, now I already told, if it's a gold loan, you have to keep gold. If it's housing loan, you have to keep house. If it is a housing loan, you have to keep asset, any asset. If you're taking a vehicle loan, the papers of the vehicle has to be kept for the vehicle loan. Okay, like this, there are so many loans that is available today. So similarly, this is like a mortgage loan. Mortgage means you keep an asset uh, with some person or with the bank to get the loan. So similarly, these companies will create a charge. Okay, so debentures are so let's take for example, they create a charge. They create a charge on assets. Now what does it mean? Let's take for example, there is a machinery. There's a machinery in the company. This machinery, it's a very huge machinery, it's not a small one. So this machinery is worth of, let's say, 2 crores. Okay, it's worth of 2 crores for example. So this, we are raising debentures by keeping this asset as the charge, like how we keep papers of a house, how we keep physical gold and get the loan. Similarly, company is saying, see, this machinery is worth so much, I want amount, so keep this with you and give me the loan. Okay, so this debentures is a form of loan that is issued by the company. Now here what will happen, whatever the company gets the money, now loan is given from public to the company. So which means the company is supposed to pay the interest